You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Live at 4. As much as we'd love to keep this weather that we're having today, it's not going to happen.
No, it feels like summer outside, but that could lead to some strong storms later tonight.
The First Warn Weather Team started talking about tonight's storms way back last week. Blaze Keller joins us now with the latest. Blaze?
Getting ready for those severe thunderstorms, Brady, Susan, and folks at home. It is warm outside, and that's only going to add to the energy that these storms will likely use as we go into that 9, 10, 11 o'clock time frame when those storms are expected to move on in. Strong wind gusts continue to be our main threats. Isolated wind gusts could be upwards of 60 miles or 80 miles per hour, as well as between 60 to 70 mile per hour across more of southern and southwestern Wisconsin. A slight and enhanced risk for severe weather this evening. There is a look at our wind threat. Those black lines have been added more into our coverage area, and those black lines, we call them a hatched risk, and that means that we just have an increased chance of those 70 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts across that area. So a lot of southern and southwestern Wisconsin underneath that threat for those strong winds, not to mention an isolated tornado threat. Anybody there in the green and especially the brown need to make sure that they have a safety plan as well as a way to receive weather alerts like through our First Warn Weather app, as this is going to be happening overnight. So we're not going to be able to really see these storms as well. So you need to make sure that you have these ways to receive alerts. Severe thunderstorm watch just off to our southwest across most of Iowa, and a line of severe thunderstorms stretching from the Iowa border south into parts of Missouri. Here's a look at when those storms will move into our area, starting between 8 and 10 o'clock tonight and continue to push off towards the northeast. We're going to have a full breakdown of tonight's severe weather threat in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, we'll check back in just a little bit to Big Ten tournament coverage now. Good day for Badger fans. The Badgers just beat UCLA moments ago. Sports director Zach Hanley is in the studio with us with a breakdown of the game.
And our Tanisha Shaw is live at the Union South. She's been out there all day, but let's start with Zach. Zach?
Yeah, they say revenge is a dish best served cold, but the Badgers were red hot in their quarterfinal matchup with the Bruins, and it's safe to say Wisconsin didn't forget about their January meeting with UCLA, a game that Greg Gard's squad felt they should have won. Now it's UCLA's first ever Big Ten tournament appearance, and Wisconsin was a welcoming host, putting on a 3-ball party. John Tanjay, give me all 3 of those plus 1. The 4-point play puts the Badgers up 4. Tanjay hit 4 triples in the first half. As a team, they made 12 in the first 20 minutes. Here's another. Death taxes and a corner 3 from Kamari McGee. Badgers led by 19 at the break, and it was all over from there. Second half now, Tanjay dials up another one. He finished with a game-high 26 and made UCLA's coach look like that. Badgers blow out the Bruins to advance to the semifinals, so it will be another rematch for Wisconsin. This time, it's Michigan State. We'll have a live report from Indy on UW's big win coming up at 5.
Very exciting. All right, Zach, thank you. And now let's get out to our Tanisha Shaw, who is live this afternoon at Union South.
Hey, Tanisha, sounds like a little bit of a party out there.
It may sound like a party, but I promise you it does not look like a party. This will be a very empty party. I'm pretty sure that's because all the students here at Union South are enjoying the good weather. As soon as the Badgers secured that lead, and when they won, everybody pretty much went outside to enjoy their days and to enjoy the W. So again, I am here at Union South, and one thing I will tell you is I noticed something very different, the atmosphere between yesterday's game and today's game. So again, I was on campus yesterday and today. Yesterday, when I was talking to everybody, they were really confident in the Badgers. They knew that they had the W. But today, they were a little apprehensive. Everybody was confident, but they didn't quite know if we were going to win or not. Thankfully, we did. Today, fans were confident in Wisconsin, but they couldn't all the way predict the outcome.
Right. I mean, we're here at UW-Madison, so I think UW-Madison's taking it home.
Right. Man, my boy, John Blackwell, he be shooting that 3.
UW lost against UCLA last time, but I have confidence they got in the bag this time. We won the last game, so I don't see why they can't do it again.
And we are hoping they can do it again tomorrow against Michigan State. I got a chance to talk to even more fans, and I'll have that report tonight at 5 and 6 p.m. Reporting in Madison, Tanasia Shaw, News 3 Now.
All right, Tanasia, thanks. We'll see you at 5. In other news this Friday afternoon, a chemical spill at SAIA Trucking this morning sent one person to the hospital. The Waunakee and Madison fire departments responded to Waunakee just after 1:30 in the morning for reports of chemicals leaking from the back of a trailer. The chemicals touched the bumper of the trailer, producing a chemical reaction. The person who went to the hospital was getting sick from the chemical exposure.
The Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights is investigating dozens of universities, including UW-Madison. In a release this morning, Education Secretary Linda McMahon accused the schools of violating Title VI of the Civil Rights Act by partnering with the PhD Project. The nonprofit helps students from underrepresented groups get degrees in business. By law, any institution receiving federal funds that violated Title VI will lose that money.
Well, we've received a statement on today's announcement from a UW spokesperson. It reads, quote, UW-Madison has not yet been formally notified of any complaint related to the PhD project. If a complaint is received, the university will cooperate with any investigation. In politics, this week saw the one and only debate between the two candidates running for state Supreme Court.
And we have a breakdown of the action this week on For the Record. Political reporter Will Keneally joins us with more. Hey, Will.
Well, that's right. I want to take you back inside the debate hall earlier this week. All 7 sitting Supreme Court justices were there in attendance watching that debate at Marquette University. Now, from that front row of the audience, and we caught up with the retiring Justice Ann Walsh-Bradley after the debate, where we asked her in part what she wants to see from the Supreme Court justice who will replace her on the bench.
The kind of justice that the people of Wisconsin not only want but deserve. Fair, impartial, hardworking, keen intellect, understands what it means to be a person of this state with the values that represent this state.
Justice Ann Walsh-Bradley there is among the liberal majority on the court right now. She's endorsing the liberal candidate, Susan Crawford, in that race, and we talked with her about that race, as well as some of the attacks against the current court. And you can see more coming up this Sunday at 10:30 on For the Record.
I'm looking forward to that. Well, it was interesting to see all of the justices attending the debate. Was that unusual, or is that what they always do?
Very unusual. It's the first time I've ever seen that, and
Me
talking
too.
to some of the Supreme Court justices, they have never seen anything like that before either.
Very interesting. All right, we'll see you Sunday.
Yep,
Thanks, Will. Well, next on Live at 4, the grim milestone the U.S. is marking in the measles outbreak.
Plus, the end of daylight saving time will tell you why some lawmakers are looking to stop the practice.
Welcome back. We are taking a live look at the Senate floor on Capitol Hill, where senators will vote shortly on a Republican-backed government funding bill, which would keep the government funded through September. Republicans need 8 Democratic senators to join them in order to avoid a partial government shutdown at midnight.
President Trump says he received good news today about a proposed temporary ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. He did not expand on what that news was, other than saying that he had very good calls with both countries. Earlier this week, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky accepted the deal for a temporary ceasefire, but Russian President Vladimir Putin has said while he supports it in theory, he has some reservations. Zelensky's accused Putin of trying to drag out the process. President Trump says the U.S. will know more on Monday.
Just 3 months into the new year, and measles cases in the U.S. have surpassed the total number of cases from 2024. The CDC says this year there have been 308 measles cases. Last year there were only 285. Most of this year's cases are linked to a multi-state outbreak in Texas, New Mexico, and Oklahoma. 2 people have died, an adult and a child. Both weren't vaccinated. There aren't any cases in Wisconsin, but state health officials are already preparing for a potential outbreak. Wisconsin has the second lowest measles vaccination rate in the U.S. If you're not sure whether you or your children have received the measles vaccine, you can find out at the Wisconsin Immunization Registry at the link on your screen. If you're not vaccinated, you can call your doctor, pharmacy, or local health department to schedule a vaccine.
Heads up, more than 75,000 bottles of International Delight coffee creamer are being recalled. The parent company says it received complaints of spoilage and illness with the use of these products, which are pictured here. The recall is in effect for multiple states, including Wisconsin. If you have either the Cinnabon Classic Cinnamon Roll or Hazelnut International flavors with Best Buy dates of July 3rd and 2nd, you should throw them out.
And we are tracking alert day conditions. Let's get a look at the potential storms for later. Here's meteorologist Blaze Keller.
And we have hit 80 in La Crosse. We were there earlier in Prairie du Chien. We're just a degree shy in Boscobel and Lone Rock, 77 in Madison, 76 in the Dells. All of this warmth is all ahead of those potentially severe thunderstorms that we're expecting to move into the forecast area here in just about 5 or 6 hours between 9 and 10 o'clock tonight. They're expected to move on in. Strong winds are going to continue to be our main threats. We may even see some isolated gusts upwards of 80 miles per hour. We can't rule out an isolated weak tornado as well. And this is going to go through at least early Saturday morning as that line of storms expected to develop out in Iowa will move over the Mississippi River and into southwestern Wisconsin by about 8 through 10 o'clock tonight. We're looking at 8:30 on Future Track Friday night. That line will continue to push off towards the north and east. Now we're at 2 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. Eastern Wisconsin is getting the brunt of that storm activity. Further to the south and west, we'll be dealing with non-severe thunderstorms as well as some lingering rain showers, and we'll continue the breezy conditions as we go into your Saturday, which is why we have an alert day for Saturday as well, mainly for those wind gusts. And if we take a look at Future Track wind gusts, most of us anywhere between 40 to 50 miles per hour, but again, at times we may approach 60 miles per hour, like in Platteville, and we may even exceed that, approaching 70, 80 miles per hour with some of these storms as they move into southwestern Wisconsin. The good news is, as we continue to make our way through the evening and into the overnight hours, the atmospheric energy, so the food that these storms would use to keep being as strong as they are, will quickly fizzle on out. So that is some good news. The energy is going to be going away as we go further into the overnight hours, but these storms will for sure pack a punch as they're coming into Wisconsin later tonight. Here is our severe weather outlook for this evening. We find the marginal, the slight, the enhanced risk here in the brown, and then we find a moderate risk for severe weather stretching from the middle of Iowa all the way down to parts of Louisiana. And what we don't see too often is a high risk issued, especially for day 2. So for your Saturday into Sunday, but we find a high risk for severe thunderstorms stretching from parts of Alabama back into Mississippi. This is probably going to be a multi-day severe weather outbreak. We get it today, and then parts of the deep south, as you're seeing here, get that severe weather as we go into your Saturday into Sunday. Again, strong winds are going to be our main threats tonight. Alex and I will be here covering severe weather all throughout the evening. And if you haven't done so already, download our First Warned Weather app so that you can get alerts, and you can also follow us there as we're tracking the severe weather. As I mentioned, Saturday is going to be breezy. We are going to keep that alert day. Most of the rain activity is going to be in the morning, and if there are any thunderstorms, they are not expected to be severe. We may see some snowflakes during the morning hours on Sunday. We're quiet for St. Patrick's Day, and then another system looks to move through the area Wednesday into Thursday. We've gone ahead and issued an alert day for that as well, because that is also going to bring us another round of not only rain, but also a wintry mix as we go into the middle of next week. So temperatures are going to be going on a bit of a roller coaster here, from the 50s tomorrow to the 60s on Monday to the 30s on Thursday, and then we're back into the 50s by that upcoming weekend.
Thank you, Blaze. Wisconsin could be ditching daylight saving time if a new proposed bill passes the state legislature.
Arman Rahman goes into that and tells us who in Wisconsin is tired of turning the clocks backwards and forwards.
It's a game we play 2 times a year. Right now, we just lost an hour of sleep but gained an hour of daylight, unlike this guy over here back in the fall, when we gained an hour of sleep but lost an hour of daylight. But why do we even do daylight savings time at all, and could it be on the chopping block in Wisconsin?
If springing forward and falling back
ticks you off, you may be in luck. Wisconsin Representatives Nate Gustafson and Rachel Cabral-Guevara introduced a bill to eliminate the practice of daylight saving time in Wisconsin. They say it leads to workplace injuries, traffic accidents, and is bad for mental health and productivity in adults and kids. You may have been told that daylight saving time is for farmers to get more time in the fields, but experts say it was actually pushed to conserve energy during World War I and II.
If you're anybody that owns animals, cows, pigs, cats, dogs, they've got their own internal body clock. So when the clock changes for you, doesn't mean it changes for them.
If the bill passes, it would go into effect this coming January 1st. But one man who's literally had his hands in the hands of time, the owner of a clock repair shop that's been in Madison for 50 years, says he'll believe it when he sees it. I'll have more from him tonight at 5. For now, reporting in Madison, Armand Rama on News 3 Now.
Thank you, Armand, or should I say thank you, Armand and Armand? We got two of them in there.
Right.
Well, coming up, it's Pie Day in the 608.
News 3 Now carries on the tradition of the pie eating competition. Brady, how do you and I get a ticket to this
next year?
Find out who this year's winner was when Live at 4 returns.
Well, it's Pie Day Friday. Oh, Pie Day Friday.
Yeah.
Look at that. It's Pie Day Friday in the 608, which means our annual News 3 Now pie eating contest returned earlier today.
Our Josh Spreiter hosted the event this morning at Hubbard Avenue Diner in Middleton. And here are the highlights.
We're going to have loads of fun here for Pie Day Friday. We have Ashley Williams joining us from Hubbard Avenue. Ashley, good to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
So are you ready for the big day? I know this is one of the biggest days of the year for you.
Yes, we are. We're stacked and loaded.
We have banana cream pie.
We'll also have that flavor today in the store. It's also going to be probably featured this week because I have a lot of bananas. And we're going to do it for second harvest as well in April.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Hey, we're going to meet the contestants. Of course, you know, we have our reigning champ sitting right here on the end, Mayor Kuhn of Middleton. Mayor, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, thank you.
So you won last year. Pressure's on.
Yes, but I'm fully focused on these pies.
We've got Katie Nelson. She's the president of the Middleton City Council. Katie, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Do you know what you got your hands into here?
I don't have a clue. I'm just going to try and stay out of the way of the elbows up on these two sides of me.
And Andrew Schuck with the Village Green. Are you ready for this?
I am born ready.
All right, now you see him on News 3 Now weekends. We got Jalen back.
Last year I felt like I wasted too much time chewing. This time I'm just going to swallow.
And the one and only Will Loper, he returns.
Yes, I'm back. I was very sad to have missed last year, you know, but it was probably a good thing because I've won at least 3 times. My trophy shelf was starting to sag. I did get a guy who came in, Bob's Brackets, put a bracket in, so I'm set for another trophy this year.
And Jason, our content manager at News 3 Now. Jason, this is your second year as well.
It is, you know, the mayor defeated me last year.
Here's the trophy. I know you're going to get it all day. This is amazing.
As delicious as this pie is, I've had a bad taste in my mouth since then, so we're going to fix that today.
Oh boy. Contestants are going to get 60 seconds to eat as much pie as they possibly can. In 3, 2, 1, we're off to the races.
Oh, Will.
Jalen's not even sitting down right now. Jalen's like... He's over his plate. Oh, Will's going in too. Wow. Let's see how our reigning champ is, Mayor Kuhn. Oh, she's going into it here as well. Of course, our newcomers here. We got Katie and we got Andrew.
Oh, Katie.
I don't know about that utensil, Ashley.
No. But thanks for coming.
5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Obviously, he won.
Whoa! Whoa! Andrew Schuck of the Village Green here in downtown. Andrew, how are you feeling?
I'm so hungry.
You've been saying all morning that you were ready, you were hungry, you were prepared.
That's right. I was hyped up. I was ready to go. I trained for this. Here we are. You know, mind over matter.
So obviously, this was your first time competing. You know, what do you think overall?
Great pie, great company, great place to be. Downtown Middleton's fantastic. Happy to be here. Happy to take the win for the team.
Our contestants did a really nice job this year.
They did a really good job. Nobody held back.
The Channel 3 people. Jalen, not too much chewing.
I know, next year.
That looks like so much fun.
It does. It does. I like the, was it Katie using the fork?
Yeah, that would be me.
Yeah, same.
That doesn't work.
Well, thank you, Josh. And this weekend is the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade.
On Sunday at 1:30, the St. Patty's Day Parade will kick off on the Capitol Square. It's the 25th year of the parade. News 3 spoke with one leprechaun about why you should come out.
There's going to be Bucky Badger, the UW band, all different kind of bagpipers, Irish dancers, the kissers. It's just a great time to come down, celebrate community, celebrate each other's light and energy, and come out of the winter doldrums and celebrate community.
The parade steps off from the intersection of North Pinckney and East Mifflin Street. The route is counterclockwise around the Capitol Square. Madison Metro will stop Capitol bus service at 11 and move to the outside ring on the square. To find parking, go to stpatsmadison.org. You were the Grand Marshal last year.
I was.
Was it fun?
It was so much fun. Thank you for the hospitality. Great parade, great crowd. A little cold last year.
Yeah.
It's a quick parade.
We're going to be watching the weather this year, too.
Yeah.
Hopefully the rain will stop by then.
Oh, good luck, everyone. Well, coming up on Live at 4, Blaze is tracking those alert day conditions and when the storms are slated to start.
Plus, an odd pairing, how Madison Kung Fu is helping people learn to use their firearms safely.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Let's take a look outside. There's a shot downtown. Look at all the construction downtown. There's all kinds of new things popping up. Beautiful afternoon today. But all eyes are on alert day for tonight. We are literally in the calm before a potentially strong storm. And Blaze is out on the weather patio, soaking up that sunshine for now. Hi, Blaze.
Yes, the clouds are beginning to move on in, so that's telling me that storms are firing off to our south and west, and now we just essentially, as you said, Susan, wait in the calm. We do have that alert day for tonight. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts are likely across a lot of southern Wisconsin, but we could see isolated gusts upwards of 80 miles per hour, and we could also squeeze out maybe one or two isolated weak tornadoes between, I would say, 9 o'clock tonight and about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. We find a slight and enhanced risk in the brown there, the slight risk in the yellow across the majority of our coverage area. Strong winds are going to be our main threats, as I just mentioned, upwards of 60, 70, possibly 80 miles per hour. We find a severe thunderstorm watch to our south and west in Iowa. In the yellow, that's a tornado watch extending from northern Missouri all the way south into Arkansas. So we don't have any watches here in southern Wisconsin. Obviously, when that changes, we will, of course, let you know. Strong winds are our main threats, and that's then followed by an isolated weak tornado as we head into the overnight hours. Beginning around 9, I would say as late as 10, those storms are going to move on in out of the southwest and continue to race off towards the northeast with gusts upwards of, as I said, 60 to 70 miles per hour. So we're going to go more in depth about not only this alert day, but also our alert day on your Saturday and then the following Wednesday in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. Wisconsin is moving forward in the Big Ten tournament.
The Badgers just beat UCLA, and sports director Zach Hanley is here with all the highlights. Zach.
Yeah, they say revenge is a dish best served cold, but the Badgers were red hot in their quarterfinal matchup with the Bruins, and it's safe to say Wisconsin didn't forget about their January meeting with UCLA, a game that Greg Gard's squad thought that they should have won. Well, it was UCLA's first ever Big Ten tournament appearance, and Wisconsin was a welcoming host, putting on a 3-ball party. John Tange says, give me all 3 of those plus 1. The 4-point play puts the Badgers up 9. Tange hit 4 triples in the first half. As a team, they made 12 in the first 20 minutes. Here's another. Death taxes and a corner 3 from Kamari McGee. Badgers led by 19 at the break. And it was all over from there. Second half now, Tange dials another one up. He finished with a game-high 26 and made UCLA's coach look like that. Badgers blow out the Bruins to advance to the semifinals, so it will be another rematch for Wisconsin. This time, it's Michigan State. We'll have a live report from Indy on UW's big win coming up at 5.
Very good. Thanks, Zach. To Wall Street, where U.S. stocks rallied to their best day in months. The Dow is up 675 points, the Nasdaq gained 451, and the S&P 500 is up 117. Still, it wasn't enough to keep the U.S. market from a fourth straight losing week, its longest streak since August.
The 19-year-old accused of shooting a 16-year-old girl last Sunday is facing charges for second-degree attempted murder. The Sun Prairie Police Department referred charges to the district attorney on Thursday. The shooting happened on South Bird Street just after 3 in the morning on Sunday. Police are still investigating the shooting. Anyone with information should call the police non-emergency line at the number on your screen.
A Madison nonprofit is working to expand access to free and inclusive gun safety classes.
Our Ellie La Liberté shows us how Kung Fu is helping achieve that goal. Ellie?
Well, Susan, it's two things you may not typically think go together, but Madison Kung Fu offered up its space to help the Forward Initiative expand access to those classes. The nonprofit teaches firearm safety, licensing, concealed carry, and Stop the Bleed classes completely for free. Blake Alvarenga is the executive director of the Forward Initiative. His goal is to create a safe space for people of all ages, races, genders, sexualities, and religious backgrounds to learn firearm safety. The last time we talked with him, he was passing out free gun locks at the farmers market and teaching his classes in smaller spaces. But after we last reported on Alvarenga's goal, Madison Kung Fu reached out.
People always suggest like libraries and things like that, but when dealing with serious topics like firearms and life-saving skills, we really need a dedicated space where people can feel comfortable. Now we have more classes available than ever, and we're able to offer them consistently on the same days of the week.
Now, if you're interested in signing up for a class or donating, you can visit theforwardinitiative.org. And tonight at 6, you can hear directly from Madison Kung Fu and why they wanted to help with this goal.
We will see you at 6, Ellie. Thank you. Coming up tonight at 4, there are 3 new things for you to stream this weekend.
Good, I needed something to do.
Me too.
Will Loper shows us where to watch when Live at 4 returns. We are tracking those alert day conditions, so a rainy weekend is on the way. So it's a perfect time to find something to watch inside.
Will Loper has a preview of some new movies and shows that are now streaming.
I'm gonna explain to you what we do. We're posing as feds. We're ripping off drug dealers.
You're good? They don't remember your face.
Just a badge.
Watch characters get in over their heads in Dope Thief, newly streaming on Apple TV+.
We went to the wrong house. And now these people are looking for us.
Let's go! Let's go! After posing as DEA agents, 2 lifelong friends find themselves on the run after robbing the wrong house.
How bad is it, Ray? No more secrets, okay?
You wanted to come this time.
Those with younger viewers will want to check out Moana 2, newly streaming on Disney+.
This is a call from the ancestors.
Hidden in a terrible storm, it's an ancient island. Setting foot on its sands would break the curse.
Although not as good as the first Moana, there's still plenty of adventure to enjoy in this sequel.
Now I kind of miss the lava monster.
Ow! Ow!
The world is changing. A tide sweeping us along against our control.
And fantasy fans will want to check out the 3rd season of The Wheel of Time, newly streaming on Amazon Prime Video.
Our people have been waiting for the Karakarn's arrival. Do you think it might be you?
Rosamund Pike returns as Moraine, searching for the one who will help fight the forces of evil.
Get ready!
For Live at 4, I'm Will Loper.
Thank you, Will. I like all those choices.
Yeah, Dope Thief looks really interesting.
good.
Something to do.
Well, coming up on Live at 4, 2 orchestras, 2 choirs, and 1 massive passion from the Madison Bach musicians.
We'll preview the performance by one of the city's leading music ensembles when Live at 4 continues. And this is a live look at Chicago. I think the Bean's a popular place today.
It really is. That's Millennium Park. Have you been there before?
I have only once. So.
It's great. It's a great place to take a walk on a day like today, right along Lake Michigan.
66 degrees, partly cloudy. Maybe I'll hop in my car now.
The Madison Bach musicians are celebrating their 21st season by performing one of Johann Sebastian Bach's most famous works.
Musicians from across the country are coming to Madison to perform St. Matthew's Passion next weekend at UW-Madison's Hamel Music Center. Trevor Stevenson is the artistic director of the Madison Bach musicians. Thanks for coming back with us.
Trevor,
it's my pleasure. It's good to see you.
This is quite the event.
It is. This is a difficult production to mount with double orchestra and double choir and all on period instruments, and even a children's choir, which Madison Youth Choirs will be providing for this. Bach really conceived of it, I think, as a spectacular piece written for his own church, and coming in at 2 hours and 45 minutes of music, which they would have done, and then, with a sermon in the middle, no less. So he wrote it in 1725. He premiered it at the church in 1727, and then he kept working on it and had a master score that he kept tweaking for another 8 or 9 years. He never published it. It just kind of sat there, and I think he trotted it out when the Good Friday occasion came along. It is a Good Friday piece.
For people who aren't familiar with the Madison Bach musicians, what's unique about, as you alluded to, you all play on period instruments.
Right.
17th and 18th century instruments?
Absolutely, and which means that all the string instruments are strung with gut. They're played with gut. The advantage of that is that when the bow moves, the pitch is into the air instantly, right? So they speak very, very quickly. They articulate easily. The bows really facilitate articulation, and all the wind instruments in this are also period instruments, which is even a trickier conversion for modern players. So these are people who play really pretty much nothing but the period wind instrument. You have to be a specialist. The advantage of them is like the Baroque oboe, which is maybe the most important in all of this for just the soul of the sound, is quite close to the human voice in its resonance and its warmth. Bach just lavished his greatest writing on the Baroque oboe, so they'll all be there. Plus, there's also the story is kind of carried by Matthew the Evangelist, who's a narrator who brings you into the action, and you actually get to witness, Jesus speaking with the disciples, the trial scene, betrayal, crucifixion. It's all done in, so it's like a movie, and yet Bach always pulls you back out of that and to an emotional response from like the soul of the congregation, the parishioners, and he goes back and forth 5 or 6 different angles of this. It's really, in some ways, it's like experimental theater, and it's still, I think, it's riveting in the way it's paced. It's quite irregular in its pacing, and it's always like sucking you into the next scene. He must have known it was his greatest. So
when you have such a historical piece like that, is there pressure to be as precise as you can, or can people have little flourishes? I always wonder about that.
There is some legend that Bach would raise a very discouraging eyebrow when his musicians would go too far in jazzing it up, as it was. But we know that they did, and it's just a question of what can you bring good taste to it. So of course there will be some of that just to keep it in the moment, keep it live, and keep it active. But the piece is so complex, even as it is. Literally just playing the notes he wrote is a tall order. So, we're so happy that Mark Dupere from Appleton will be conducting this. He's a conductor at Lawrence University. Kyle Stiegel, who's really from Australia, is coming in for this to sing The Evangelist.
Wow, here's the information, just so you know. It's not this weekend, it's next weekend.
Right.
March 22nd and 23rd, there's a lecture before each concert, as you see there. 8 o'clock on Saturday night, 3:30 in the afternoon on Sunday at the beautiful UW-Madison Hamel Music Center. For information and to purchase tickets, go to madisonbachmusicians.org, and students get a discount.
There is a student discount, tickets at the door or online. You can get them, and everything is at the website that you just mentioned.
Wonderful. Thank you for being on with us.
It's our pleasure.
Best of luck, Trevor. Enjoy it. Good to see you.
It is a good thing it's next weekend, because this weekend we're watching some pretty interesting weather. Here's meteorologist Blaise Keller.
That's right. We've got some severe weather, probably our first severe weather of the season, moving in later tonight. Strong winds with gusts most likely upwards of 60 miles per hour are going to be our main threat, but we can't rule out maybe a gust upwards of 70 to 80 miles per hour as those storms move out of Iowa into southwestern Wisconsin. We also cannot rule out an isolated weak tornado either. So let's jump future track ahead to that 8 through 10 o'clock time frame. At 9 p.m., those storms are beginning to move out of Iowa into southwestern Wisconsin. So we still have plenty of time to get stuff out of the yard or strap down anything you don't want to lose, as these storms are not expected to move in, as I mentioned, until at least 8, 9 o'clock tonight. And from there, those storms will continue to race off towards the northeast, with gusts upwards of 60, 70, maybe upwards of 80 miles per hour. But as they continue to push off towards the northeast, these storms are going to weaken, which is some good news. But we do find a majority of our coverage area either underneath a slight risk or an enhanced risk. So here's a look at where those storms are now based on the watches and warnings. We have a severe thunderstorm watch for parts of Iowa. That goes until 10 o'clock tonight. 2 hours south in the yellow, this is a tornado watch. So it looks like, at least for now, the tornado watch is staying off to our south. We have nothing yet. Alex and myself are in constant communication with the National Weather Service, so we're going to be talking to them. And as soon as we know when a watch or a warning is going to be issued, we will let you know as well. Between 8 and 10 p.m. southwestern Wisconsin, that's where we're going to be dealing with those storms. In the yellow here, between 10 and about midnight going into early Saturday. For anybody in the yellow, that's when we'll be dealing with those storms. And then from midnight onwards in the green, that's when we'll likely be dealing with at least weakening storms. So as I mentioned, strong winds are going to be our greatest threat, followed then by an isolated tornado or two. Can't rule out some larger hail at times, but overall the hail threat is not as high. Now, this is going to be a multi-day severe weather outbreak, if you will, across parts of the United States. Today, it's across the Mississippi River Valley, and then tomorrow, it extends its way towards the deep south, across places that were hit back in 2011 with that super outbreak. And those same areas are now underneath a high risk of severe weather extending from parts of Alabama back into Mississippi. And we really don't see high risk severe weather outlooks issued fairly often. So this is, again, a very interesting time. We're capitalizing on the cold air to our north, the warm air from the Gulf, and it's all mixing together to bring us our severe weather tonight, and then severe weather to parts of the deep south tomorrow. 40s and 50s, speaking of tomorrow, we will be dealing with rain and breezy conditions. So we do have an alert day for your day tomorrow for the wind, and then another alert day for Wednesday of next week, when another low pressure system moves through the area and looks to bring us rain, snow, as well as a mix of both. There's a look at your 10-day forecast, quiet for St. Patrick's Day, and then we turn our attention to that Wednesday, as I just mentioned.
Welcome back, everyone. It's
Friday!
It's Friday! And this week's Feel Good Friday story is about a DJ from Madison who's making history.
Screamin' Scott is the first DJ from Wisconsin to be inducted into the Mobile Entertainment Expo's Hall of Fame. He started his business with the hope of creating long-lasting memories for newlyweds and their wedding guests. Since then, he's DJ'd hundreds of shows a year. Scott's known for his interactive style, so that often includes games and props. And after receiving the honor, our crew asked him how he got to where he is today.
The reason why I'm where I'm at with such a unique style of production is because of all of those DJs and entertainers around me that were so willing to share over the years. And that, I believe, is why I made the Hall of Fame.
And if you have a story you'd like to share with us for Feel Good Friday, you can submit it by emailing tips@channel3000.com with the subject line, Feel Good Friday.
Congratulations, Scott. Good for him.
Woo. We'll be right back.
Well, all is calm outside right now, but alert date conditions are in the forecast for tonight. So stick around. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington will have his full forecast. Our First Warn weather team is tracking thunderstorms and strong damaging winds potentially for tonight. And it's all supposed to start in just a few hours. So we'll have the latest update on the forecast straight ahead at 5. Thanks for watching Live at 4 today, everybody. We hope to see you right back here on Monday. News 3 Now at 5 starts right after this.